Welcome back to the Premium Battlefield, in which we're going to be taking a look at the top 4 match of BCS London Day 2, which was Premium. Here we have a matchup against Mohammed Abumahlula, who's playing OTT. You may think it's just the usual Ichitom variant, but actually it is his own personal Susanoo, together with a lot of other spicy choices that you'll see, like the Tankman card and all that stuff. So it's a pretty original list that he crafted himself, so I think it's going to be very entertaining to see. On the right, however, we have Cyrille Bonneau, who is playing not just your standard plus spikes, but the bad and dagger version of it. And we can already see that with his starter choice of Mecha Analyzer, which, you know, is growing in popularity now, but until this event it wasn't the most common choice. So we can see he drops down the Nazuna as well as the Carp. The Nazuna is going to get him an extra card in hand for a retire if this attack hits. He did have to ride the PG though. I do apologize for the glare on Mohammed's Vanguard because it just kind of, you know, the light was positioned in that way, so it's a little bit unfortunate. We can see that Cyrille does damage check that Limit Break remover, so that does show what kind of build it is. And then we can see Mohammed is using the Carp's end of turn skill to scry one card and then draw one. So that does work out as well because he is on Oracle. So we can see that despite this being, you know, a lot of G cards, they do have a lot of effects that work without actually needing GB. So that is quite nice. So Cyrille goes into the Spike Bouncer, Soul Blast, the Gyro Slinger, looks at the top two and he's going to get to call one. I think in Mohammed's case, he should really be prioritizing to guard this early game because it's going to be quite scary. You can see Cyrille calls down the Limit Break remover and the Braki, which is going to get him an extra plus 10k power. So this is a pretty big early rush, and I think especially the smaller attacks are the ones that Mohammed should probably try to guard because the late game of Spike Brothers is really threatening and devastating, so I think it's something that you should prepare for by being a little bit more defensive in the early game, and I think OTT as a clan is definitely capable of doing such things. Both of these players are also very well achieved. We can see that Mohammed does have the World Finalist playmat, which only a very select few have, and they were all, you know, the players that participated in the 2017 World Championship Finals. And damn, Mohammed took all 3 attacks, and none of them were damage triggers either, so that didn't help whatsoever. He rides into the Nanase, and, you know, he's going to try to swing back his tempo here. I think he should be trading that Braki for sure, because that Braki is going to get annoying over the course of the game. He drops down the Stride Helper, so that's also quite nice, because he gets to Soul Blast 1 for a draw, so that's also quite good. And that way you can also try to bounce the Perfiguard. And there goes the Tankman. Lets him draw 2 cards and he has to discard an Oracle card. If he doesn't discard an Oracle card, he has to discard 2 cards, so it's basically a filter. But if he does discard an Oracle card, it's basically just a +1, which is also quite good. So we can see why cards like this are quite good and still remaining relevant in Premium. Now he swings with a 9k on the one and only grade 1. I guess if he did swing on the Braki, it would be a 1 to pass, so that does make sense. He does check the Imperial Daughter, which is nice. Now he attacks the Braki, you know, smart choice, but Cyrille does have the 5k draw trigger to guard it instead. So now Cyrille goes up to the General Cyfried, and oh, he accidentally takes his stride, but he does get the force that he puts on the Braki. Now we will proceed into the start of main phase, so we can use Braki's skill to put it back to the deck and search out, well, put it to the soul and search out another one from the deck. But you know, when you talk about Cyrille as well, he has a couple of top 8s, you know, a couple of tops rather already under his belt, and you know, this weekend was already a major addition to that list of tops. You know, this is the first big premium event in the UK, and he managed to take it, you know, coming all the way from France. You know, I think we all know that, especially in Europe, we all know that the French players definitely travel quite a lot, and we can always expect to see them at the top tables because, you know, these players are dedicated to the game and they really do show it in their skill. You see Mohammed checks the 5k stand trigger, so that's just a 5k addition in power. Ooh, and now Cyrille makes the really nice play of attacking with the Cyfried on the Tankman. And that's really huge because he doesn't need to hit the Vanguard with Cyfried in order to get the restand on the Braki, so he's really putting Mohammed into a situation where he has to protect this rear guard, otherwise he's actually losing out on a lot. Because, you know, he's going to lose a unit from his field, which is going to be that stride fodder, and, you know, that there goes his free stride later on. And just in general, he also gets, you know, he gives up one of the attacks that Cyrille can get with the Braki, and that's just going to be more pressure to his Vanguard. And it's just, Cyrille's really just, you know, he's taking control of the momentum in this game, and he's really just dictating the whole pace. You know, it's also 1 to 4 damage, and I think if this attack hits, he can easily push it to 5 as well. And it looks like it is going to hit. He gets a Spike Bouncer, as well as, I think that was a Gyro Slinger, but I'm not too sure. But regardless, the attack hits. He gets a Soul Blast to stand the Bracky, and there goes his one and only rearguard, and he goes to 5 damage. That is quite a dangerous sign, you know. I understand that Mohammed's hand might not be too healthy in terms of guarding. You know, we saw a couple of grade 3s in there. He rises into the Imperial Daughters. That's going to hopefully help him a little bit. He's going to need to check a few heals here, I think, in order to actually pull through, because Spike Brothers' first stride is devastating. Like, let me tell you, after having gone through it on the same day in Premium, you know, this deck can just pop off on first stride like crazy. They can get multiple attacks with huge numbers, especially thanks to the force markers, and it's just a devastating amount of pressure that the deck really puts on. So I think it's something worth thinking about going into the game, you know, just seeing what your opponent flips up as the first Vanguard. But we can see that Mohammed goes into the Ame no Sagume, and so that's going to be an interesting choice, because she does have the on-hit pressure to, you know, +1 at least. But we'll see how he decides to go for that. We know that his G-Zone has some other options as well, but I think for first stride, when you don't have any other face-up G-Guards, that is, you know, a pretty hard thing to decide what to do. So he calls down another one of the Stride Helpers, as well as one of his Deers. We saw, you know, an abundance of grade 3s in his hand, so it does make sense. He used the Ame no Sagume to flip face up the GB8 Amaterasu, so, you know, now he has the on-hit pressure, and since Cyrille doesn't have any Counterblast, and the Bracky is also quite important, you know, he has to think whether he has to take, whether he's going to take this or not. But, you know, Mohammed ripping several crits in a row is also gonna put him in a weird spot, so we'll see how this goes. So he decides to take it. There's the one crit. That's one of the old Psychic Birds. Second check is a Deer, and the third check is a Susanoo. So he got rid of some grade 3s, but they still keep coming back to his hand, so a little bit unfortunate. Cyrille gets the draw trigger, and let's see what the second one is. The Bad End Dagger. There we go, the avatar, the face of the deck. You know, what really makes it pop off, it's just, I really wish we could have seen this combo, because, you know, he did right into the Zyfried, but, like, it's just amazing that this concept is, you know, just being so prevalent in Premium right now, and it's definitely very nice to see. So, now Mohammed has used the Ame no Sagume skill. He also discarded one of the grade 3s that he had in abundance in his hand, and he got the Soul Charge and the Counter Charge. Unfortunately, no heals seen on Mohammed's side. That's definitely quite unfortunate, because the extra heal right there would have helped a lot, because that way he would have actually been able to pull through this next turn a little bit more. But, you know, his hand is quite healthy. You know, he has a Protect in hand. You know, he's showing off that he drive checked the crit, and just overall, you know, he can pull through, I think. You know, it depends on what's in Cyrille's hand, because whether he has the Mecha Instructors, I think that's what the stand trigger was called, I believe it's Mecha Instructor. If he has those in hand, then that means he's going to be able to just rush in with a lot of attacks, and that's going to make it a lot scarier. So it all depends on whether Cyrille has any Mecha Instructors in hand, whether he has, you know, the right setup for the next turn. He's going to G-Guard, meaning that first stride Agrias is going to be really scary. So I think Cyrille is still, you know, just working with the tempo right now, and, you know, now he's got a face-up G-Guard, and just, he has so many things to work with. The Bracky is still on the board, which means he can still recycle it for that extra plus 10k power, and just in general, Cyrille is just really just feeling good in this game right now. So he's going to discard the Bad End Dagger for stride. Looks like he is going to commit to it, yes. And then he's going to select, yep, it's the Agrias for first stride. This is a devastating first stride. In round 3, I believe, of the same day here in London, actually lost to the first stride Agrias as well, just because of how aggressive the deck is from early game all the way to late game. And this Agrias turn is honestly one of the peaks of how aggressive the deck can get, and it makes it honestly super scary. So we already have one Bracky with a plus 10k power on it, and then, you know, it's, let's see, he calls down the Juggernaut. It's going to be 33k power. Let's see, and the double Mecha Instructor. This is going to be bad news for Mohammed, because, you know, he's reading the cards, but this is going to be a really scary turn, because he's going to be able to attack 3 times on the board already. After that, he's going to get to reset the board with Agrias, and then I think he gets to, after the Mecha Instructors get cold, he's going to be able to recycle them, you know, after they charge, he's going to be able to recycle them for another attack, and I believe his starter Mecha Analyzer also lets him bind something and then call it back. So we're looking at how many attacks right here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at least, I think. So there's going to be a lot of power plays happening here. And you know, these 8 attacks aren't going to be some small 11k or 13k pokes either. We're looking at 20 plus k power on every single one. So, you know, Mohammed's really going to have to commit all that shield in his hand to be able to survive this. And I think, you know, just guarding a little bit earlier probably would have helped a lot more. We can see 2 heals in his hand, so that means he has some G-guarding options too. That's going to help him survive this turn as well. Sadly, OTT doesn't have any of the, you know, kind of G-guards like Dimension Police has, where you can actually put up your defense for the turn. But, you know, still you have a lot of G-guards that let you draw cards. Maybe you can draw into another G-guard or a perfect guard or something like that, just to be able to survive this turn. Because once Mohammed can survive this turn, he can drop down the Ichikishima. Maybe he has a Tom in hand, and he can actually, you know, put on a lot of pressure on Cyrille as well. But all of that can only happen if he survives this turn. So here, I believe he went for the Amaterasu G-Guard, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I think it's the Battle Sister one, because he did have to, he drew one for the counterblast and then he got to reveal the top card and stack it. But I believe it was a perfect guard, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, at least now we know that the 6th card that's going to hit that damage zone isn't a heal. So he's going to be able to, you know, if he can put down another one and draw into that one and then potentially reveal a heal from the top, he'll be able to take it a bit easier. But, you know, we're going to see if that actually does manage to happen. So now we can see Cyrille is using the Agrius. He already drew 1, and now he's going to be able to bind face up his units and then recall them in any order he wants to. So all 4 come back down since he has 2 face up G units, and you know, both of the Mecha Instructors are also going into charge state, and both of the Juggernaut and the Brachii get their plus 10k buffs too, because they just need to be placed on rearguard circle and nothing else. And that makes it really scary, because it just shows how well the new standard support cards are actually interacting with the old G cards. So, you know, now they're just counting numbers, I think. So, you know, I think we have the right column with Juggernaut is hitting for a total of 37 because of the 13k base, and then we have a 25k attack or 24k attack on the left. So we go through the triple check of Cyrille. Not a single trigger seen there. That might be a good sign for Mohammed. You know, he might be able to survive this now. But now let's see. This is a 33. Plus the boost would normally be a 37, but he doesn't actually have to boost here. You know, let's see what he decides to do with this situation. But Mohammed's hand is still looking quite good. There's still a lot of cards in hand. He has a lot of shields. He has the G-Guard still coming up. I think that's one of the countercharging heals as well. Those were promo. Yeah, so he had 3 heals in hand. So he does get one of the countercharge / soul charge heals in hand. And now he's going to be able to bind 2 of them, so that's quite good, to counter charge 1. So that's very nice. It's good that he got his hands on those, because those were printed as promos very recently. So I think now he's going into the Magus G-Guard, because he did flip another one face up. He gets to look at the top 2. I think he looks at the top 2, draws 1, and puts the other one on the bottom of the deck. So, you know, he gets to do that, and that's going to help him survive this attack at least. Is it actually enough? Because I believe she does gain some shield on top of that, but I think it's not quite enough just yet to properly guard that. Ooh, we can see the silent Tom that he has to drop. That would have been perfect for next turn if he, you know, could have gone without dropping that. But we can see there's a lot of grade 3s in Mohammed's hand, and it's just, you know, he needed more perfect cards in hand, more, you know, ways to discard them, because right now it's just looking pretty unfortunate, because there's still a lot of attacks that Mohammed has to deal with. I think he's already checking, you know, if there's any other, you know, if he still has a heal left in deck or anything like that, because he did have 3 in hand, you know, during this turn, and he still has 1 that he can go into for a G-Guard, and it looks like he's gonna drop the last one. Let's see, he's considering it, he's hovering over it. This is going to be the Brachii attack, but there's still more attacks to come after this. Okay, so he's going to G-Guard. Let's see what he decides to do. I think this is going to be the last G-Guard he can use, because he already had 3 face-up ones in his G-Zone. And ooh, he checks the top card and it's a heal. It's a heal, meaning he might be able to survive this next attack. So, very slight scenario here, but knowing that the heal is up there and there's no extra crit pressure means that he might be able to survive this. So, he's using the Mecha Instructor, the Bobogu is in the Soul, the spicy premium tech, and now he rebinds it to call back the Juggernaut, and then uses the Mecha Analyzer skill to recall the Brachy, and the Brachy, I believe, gets an extra 3k from Mecha Analyzer skill, so it's actually hitting for magic numbers on top of that. So it's not just a 20k swing, it's a 23, and you know, Mohammed comfortably takes that. It's the last heal he has, but he knew 100% that it was on top of the deck, so he gets the 6 damage heal, but it's only a 5k addition of power. So now we have to consider how this is going to go. I think they were just, you know, doing a little fixing there for the power because the trigger is only 5k instead of 10k. He did have the one perfect guard in hand, but here Mohammed's hand is not looking good because there is one more Mecha Instructor that still has to go off, and it's, you know, Cyrille does have to put the card in from hand into soul to recall one of these attackers, but the Juggernaut is coming back with a 33k swing, and Mohammed just doesn't have enough to guard it, and that is going to be game, and Cyrille is the one that's going to advance to the finals. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this very cool premium matchup. You know, both decks are really cool to watch, and I think, you know, a lot of interesting choices, so I hope you didn't enjoy it. But that's going to be it for me today. Don't forget to check out the second channel, as well as click the bell button, and check out the social medias in the description, and join the Discord channel if you haven't already. But on that note, that's going to be it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.